So it was one beautiful day in autumn when I decided that it would be fun to get back into knitting and crocheting. I'm going to spoil you, I kind of regretted that decision later on during the knitting project, but anyway, I chose two fun little projects, let's just call them like that. Enjoy me struggling through the whole process. First thing we're gonna make is a little pumpkin pot holder. Hello! We're gonna start right now with making a pattern, basically, for this tapestry crochet project that I found online. But I want to change the pattern because I want it a little bit smaller. So I feel we're gonna have to make it ourselves. As I said, I found the pattern online. I will link it down below in case any one of you wants to try it. I want to use a few different colors. The original one that I'm using as a reference only uses two colors, but I want the pumpkin in an orange, in a kind of muted orange. The leaves and all of that stuff will be sage green. And the background, kind of beige. I'm done with the pattern making. It looks nothing like the original because I have much less crochet stitches. I don't want to make it as huge as the originals. I'm happy with that. We're gonna try it out. I hope it will actually still look like a pumpkin when I'm done making it, but let's see. These are the two colors that I used for the pumpkin and for the greenery, plus this pretty beige color for the background. And I'm just, after after crocheting the first row, I start with the green color here, and I just go ahead the way that my pattern tells me, which it's very important to look at the pattern very often and count how many stitches you are in, because I definitely made a few mistakes here and that slowed me down. But in general, this is not a very hard thing to do. You just really have to stay focused and concentrated, and then it's actually pretty easy. And you can see here the progress I made, how you slowly can see more and more of the pumpkin. And here it's almost finished, actually. And when it was finished, I decided to make a border around it, so crochet around it a few more rows so that it would get a bit bigger and look a bit more put together. And I crocheted the whole thing a second time, so I would have then two pieces that I would basically knit together with one last row, because I need my pot holders to be extra thick so I don't burn my fingers. Also, it hides the mess on the inside. Oh, and I used cotton yarn because cotton has a high tolerance for heat and doesn't burn easily, so I would advise you to also use pure cotton. Hello! Here I am again. I'm gonna show you the outcome now. I know I didn't film too much at the end, but I got a bit annoyed with this little piece. I also made this little loop to be able to hang it up. It was actually very easy, like a very easy project. I thought it would be a little bit more hard to get the pattern right. And it was also finished in a day. So actually a quite quick little weekend project. If you need something to do, I can recommend. However, the next thing we're going to do is going to be a bit of a bigger project. We actually can start it now because my wool has arrived a couple days ago. I purchased 4 pieces because shipping was free from a certain amount of money, and I needed one more piece of wool to reach that. So this is my little extra that I will make something out of, and these 3 will be my vest. This is 50% merino wool and 50% alpaca wool. I just wanted to have something that is natural and warm. So yeah, here we go. I think the color is quite beautiful. It's gonna be a vest similar to this one that I'm wearing. Just different color, different kind of knitting pattern. I've had a look at the pattern. It is in English. I have never in my life done a English or followed an English knitting pattern. I only know the German knitting language because there's lots of specific words when you're knitting something. So I gotta admit, I'm having a little bit of trouble understanding what they want me to do. However, I've shown the whole instructions to ChatGPT, and I think she was actually helpful this time in explaining me what this is about. And I'm gonna grab something from upstairs really quick. Here we go, I'm back again with this pretty thing. I think it's pronounced gauge. It's the little 10 by 10 centimeters piece of knitting that you have to do at the beginning to see if your wool and the needles you use are a fitting thickness. And I think I got it right. It's about 10 centimeters with the amount of stitches that is in the instructions. So I'm not gonna finish this. This should be 10 by 10 centimeters when it's finished, but I'm just gonna take the needle out and use that yarn for the actual piece. So these are 5mm needles. They are really thick. At first I was using some very, very thin ones, and let's just say it was not 10 centimeters. It was more about 6. So I really had to use the needles in a proper size for this one. So I started with the bottom part of the pattern and I knitted this round, and it's basically just a rib knit, I think it's called. However, I did realize later that I had chosen the wrong size. Size medium was too big for me, so I had to size down to a small, and I had already finished the rib knit part of the pattern plus the first few rows of the actual pattern, and I had to start over again, which was mentally very challenging for me to rip everything apart and start new. But anyway, at least it fits me now. Please don't touch it. Don't touch it. Okay, so I've been struggling a lot yesterday. I finally found out how this pattern works. I am very proud. It took me quite some time. I decided to try the pattern out and practice it on this little piece here, so I wouldn't have to do the super long rows on the vest. I think it looks fine. I think I'm doing it correct. I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna show it to you. In the instructions there is knitting charts for this, so if you want to try this kind of barley field pattern, just look up the instructions. They are available for free. Okay, I want to show you the pattern now because it was very hard for me to understand it just from the written instructions. So I begin with one normal stitch. I don't know how these are called. I call it normal stitch. And then you are immediately faced with a quite interesting stitch, because now you have to knit these 3 together. The thread is in the front and you go through all 3, take the thread, pull it through. Then I take the thread and put it behind the needle. Then again I go through all 3 of these, but on the back now, and take the thread again and pull it through. Now you have 2 stitches. In the 3 stitches we need 1 more, so the thread goes to the front again. Then you go through the 3 again, take the thread, pull it through. Down here are the old 3 stitches, and on the bottom, no, on the top, sorry, you have 3 new stitches, and this is how this weird thing is made. I don't know how to describe it. So then 1 normal stitch, and now we have arrived at the lace pattern. For this we knit 2 together, just normally knit together, do 1 yarn over, so over the needle, knit 1 normally, yarn over again, then you take this next stitch and slip it on the needle, knit the next stitch and take this slipped stitch and pull it over the stitch before. So these 2 are now also stitched together. And this is basically how the lace pattern forms in the beginning. You can see it here. Then knit 1 again, and here you are again knitting 3 together 3 times in 1 stitch, the same I showed it in the beginning. So it looks like this, and then the row is finished. For the next row on the wrong side of the whole thing, you just do normal stitches here until you arrive at the yarn over again. Now we have to do 5 stitches into this loop. So 1, thread goes to the front, 2, to the back, 3, to the front, 4, and to the back, 5. So right now there's 5 stitches in this yarn over, then 1 normal stitch, and again we are at a yarn over and we do 5 stitches inside of it, and then just finish the row with normal stitches. Now we are back on the right side of the piece. We do a bunch of normal stitches again until we arrive at the 5 stitches that we have put into the yarn over. Now the first 2 have to be knit together. This is always a bit hard. Then slip this on the left needle again and pull the next 3 stitches over this one. 1, 2, 3, and back onto the right needle. And now it's only 1 stitch again. Then 1 normal in the middle. And at the next 5 stitches we do the same. Knit the first 2 together, slip it on the left needle and pull 3 stitches over. And back on the right needle. And this is how this pattern is made. Basically now you would just finish on the right side, then knit just 1 completely normal uneventful row on the wrong side and then start over, and that's it. And it's really not that complicated, but it took me so long to figure it out just from the writing on the instructions, because I didn't know most of the vocabulary. Ignore this here. By the way, I didn't work very cleanly here, but everything here is correct. After a couple of days, this is what it looks like after starting the arm holes. It's all straight up until here, and then the stitches get less and less. However, I just checked the instructions and I do not have enough stitches now. I think I did a little too much here. Now wish me good luck in figuring this out. However, I really like the pattern so far. It's really beautiful. Okay, update. I found a little error 2 rows below of where I have been knitting, and I've corrected it now, and I'm now only missing 2 stitches. Yes, 2 stitches, but that's just how it is. I don't think it will be catastrophic if I'm missing 2. It's time for an update because I have finished the front side. It looks like this right now. It looks a bit weird because the ribbing on the neckline is still missing and everything, but you can now see how this vest is structured. So basically the bottom part with the ribbing here is knitted with a round needle. I don't know if I said that in the beginning. I'm not quite sure anymore. And then the front part is knitted separately, and the back part is also knitted separately. And I just started the back part yesterday evening. It did take me about a week to complete this whole front part because, you know, I also have to go to work and stuff. So I can't just constantly be knitting. I'm just curious to see if it actually will fit me well. I have used the other vest that I have been wearing in some of the other things that I filmed before as a reference for the size of this one. I have no idea if this wool will shrink a little bit when I wash it. Of course, I'm only gonna hand wash it because, you know, it's wool. Okay, so I will probably give you the next update when I'm finished with the back part and I'm starting with the ribbing on the neck and the arms. So around here. I am basically finished right now with the body part, so front and back. I'm going to start with, like, you know, around the arms. There's still something missing here, where you do this rib knit kind of thing to finish it off. I still have to do that, but I have to check the instructions for it because I have no idea how I should take up the stitches from here. And then it should be finished, but yeah, I've been working on this for so long and my patience is running out. Welcome back, and can you believe it? I am done. I am also mentally very much done because this was exhausting. I didn't really film that last part anymore, but I had basically already finished the upper part here around the collar, and then I noticed that it's really lopsided and that one side was much higher than the other, and at first I thought it wouldn't bother me much, but it did, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I decided to open up the whole collar part again, knit another row so it wouldn't be so lopsided, and then close it up again. And that was mentally very exhausting. Anyway, it didn't come out perfectly. I should have made it maybe like a centimeter longer or so, just a tiny bit, because it's a bit, especially at the back, sometimes my blouse sticks out when I move my arms around. The size, however, fits me perfectly. I did choose a size small, which I'm sure I said in the beginning, but that was months ago. I have no idea what I said and what I didn't. I started this in October. I have now finished it in December, as you can see by the tree. My question of the day for you: have you ever knitted a bigger piece of clothing, like a vest like this or a pullover? Because I feel like most people have knitted scarves at one point in their life, but I don't think too many people are going into trying out bigger pieces. And as annoying as this one here was, I actually want to continue knitting a little bit more because I just like how customizable. I think that's what I want to say. It is, and that you can choose the color and the pattern and everything and make it just how you want to. I like that. All right, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video more than I did, and goodbye.